Rihanna, how's your girlfriend? Does she do it like me? Ariana, you were my first time, then you left me lonely. Anissa, left me for a girl too. Was better than Elisa. She made me happy that I had you. I need my next one not to front. Baby, don't you front on me, front on me, front on me, oh no. Baby, don't you front on me, front on me, front on me, oh no. One wanted money, two had hoes, 3 nights later I had twins at the door. Baby, don't you front on me, front on me, front.
Welcome. This is the Simply King podcast, and this is your boy Rodney Perry King himself. And you just tuned into the Soulfully Conscious podcast for humans, simply being humans. And today is a special one, as they always are. But I have here with me an artiste, a creative of so many sorts. Also, a fellow Clark Atlanta University Panther. Shout out to everybody at homecoming, killing their bladders. Shout out to y'all.
It was terrible out there, yo. It was terrible. I tried, man. I wanted to have so much fun out there with my Panthers, but it got rained out, and it was just terrible.
It is what it is. But I have a artist in his own right, been doing this for so long, multi-talented individual who's out here, honestly been putting a lot of work in, has truly been a person who has been a one-man band for so long. It's inspiring as hell. But today I have with me, everyone, welcome to the program, Ola.
Yo,
how you feeling, bro?
My brother. Excuse the sirens. I'm outside, just trying to soak up some air.
Oh, no, get your air. It's all good.
But yes, I appreciate you for that. Yeah, and shout out to you for doing this. Shout out to you for, just having this conversation and inviting me on this platform. I appreciate it. You've been working and I've been watching. So
I appreciate that. And you've steadily been working as well, bro. And I've always admired and always been able to pick out people who I can tell are not only trying to push what they do, but also that they're doing damn near every part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I think it was, I think my first video I seen of you, I think it was like a kind of like a dance video, but I think you were singing over it, and you had I think you shot it somewhere around campus. I feel like it was like black and white, but I was just sitting there thinking and I remember just it being some emphasis on you did all of it. Like, you had to shoot this yourself, you had to edit this yourself. This is your sound, this is your choreography. So I'm like, damn.
Yo, the thing about that is, yes, but I kind of don't like when people know that, because I just be so ready to get whatever it is I'm trying to convey out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really just focused on people knowing, oh yeah, I did this. Da, 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 da. Nah,
oh no.
It's just,
that ain't even the point I'm making. I'm making the point.
I know, but I'm saying that.
Oh yeah. Because I think it's It all depends on the situation, because I think there's some people who get just in the right place, right time, and find that exact person that they need. It's a million different stories about musicians who find, a drummer, a producer, or whoever that just meshes with them well, and they just make the most, the best shit ever.
For sure.
And they become lifelong, collaborators. But when you already got the bug, and when you already feel like the calling is on you, when you already feel like, I know I got something that I need to be doing, you figure it out. You do what you got to do. Because I definitely have that same energy and attitude about myself. But we'll talk more about it, because I definitely want to double back to that point. But let's jump right in with the Twitter check-in, right? Just to freshen everybody up. You know what I'm saying? So, Ola, you being an artist, you being a musical artist specifically, one thing that you see online all the time is people project. People believe that the perfect celebrity is one that is grateful, one that is entertaining, has charisma, makes me want to support them in whatever they do. And so they cannot really show too much weakness. They really can't show too many different types of attitude other than a very polished one, because that's what I think we've been, conditioned to believe. This is what celebrity looks like. This is somebody who's been working to put themselves in a place of notoriety, and now that they are on our TV screens, on our computer screens, on our phones, they need to act a certain way. So we have this week, it's always a discussion every time she has been, doing promo for her album. Summer Walker is a person who you could tell is very eclectic, has this very, very nice voice, you know what I'm saying? And it's definitely in that neo R&B vibe of today.
Yeah.
But she has been criticized a lot about just her literal attitude in the midst of interviews. Like, you could tell, people assume, or they could tell that she just doesn't want to be there. And it coincides with the whole theme of it just being over it, just being over life. Shit is just whatever. It is what it is. I don't like this, whatever. And so many people are coming and challenging her on some like, well, you don't have to do it. You don't have to be there. No one's paying you to blah, blah. It's a whole lot of energy. And I would love to know, what do you think about this phenomenon? Because as your star steadily rises, higher and higher, the literal thought of image and public relation is something that you think about and have to kind of think about even deeper the bigger and bigger you get. So I would love to know what your take on it is, if you've noticed it at all.
Man, I appreciate you for even asking that, because it, like, from your question alone, it like you're kind of observing that these artists are people. And I think a lot of times other people, especially consumers, they forget that or don't even care about that fact. Like, when I look at Summer and what she got going on now, I truly see a lot of me in her.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me, I've exercised being an extrovert so much that I know exactly how to switch on when I get around people. But there's a lot of times where I don't be with it. Like, especially coming from where I'm from. I'm from Jersey.
Yep.
And, people from where I'm from, we just gutter. Like, if you're looking at me, or if it's, some type of energy that could be misconstrued for something, it's an issue, or something that we have to address with, aggression or whatever may have you. But when you're an artist, you can't handle situations like that, or it could go, left. But for me, I thoroughly enjoy rooting myself now before, things blow up, and just being human. And when people try to categorize me as a superstar, I claim it. And I receive it. But I'm also very conscious and intentional about letting people know, like, okay, yeah, I may be the superstar, or we may be able to acknowledge that I have talent in X, Y, and Z. But let's remember that I'm a human. I'm a man. I'm a protector and provider. I got a family. Like, so you gotta meet me where I allow you to meet me. Like, if I don't want to talk right now, I'm being very intentional about not talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I exercise that now so that I know how to deal with it when things get crazy. But for Summer, like, I get it. I understand it. Like, I just watched her Tiny Desk. And before she even started, she was just like, yo, like, I'm really, scared when I do all of these performances. Like, I have anxiety. She said she had something like social anxiety.
Yep.
And I get that. Like, you're around. She popped out of nowhere. And her life completely changed. People started to know who she was. Like, people do weird stuff, like do research, find out who your family is and all. And that creates this anxiety that we don't really address as consumers. And we don't respect when it comes to these artists out here. So for
because you now
me,
become product.
Right, exactly. And it's beautiful because you're doing what you love. Yes, you're making music, you're touring, you're performing, but there's a lot that comes with it that we don't sign up for as artists.
Yeah.
And me being a Black male, I'm excited to speak out against that, because I think a lot of artists, they don't have the ability or the option to do it a lot of times. But I'm an independent artist. I'm not too I'm not answering to too many people. So I get to call my shots and orchestrate things the way I want to. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. You know, for me, I think it's all to me. I since it's been happening, I think at the first interview was like a Billboard interview or something like that, where which it was just a whole lot of questions. And she just answered them in this very kind of odd way, and then this happens, and then I'm sitting here thinking like how I was like, I get it if you're like an extreme fan and all of those different things, but I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that there's this weird energy of like the extreme fans are pushing back on people who are telling her to like, well, you can just stop, you can just not be there and not do this, but neither party are really looking at it equally. And what I've
Yeah.
noticed is that the people who are hardcore fans are just kind of like, well, y'all ain't really down with her anyway. She gonna do what she gonna do. Blah, blah, blah. Keep on moving. She make great music. She got more money than you. They get defensive for her almost. And it's like this weird self-diagnosis that people put. And it's like how much of it is people going off what she's saying that she feels and what she is? How much of it is people projecting and kind of filling in the blank? It's like, okay, so she spoke about anxiety, so it got to be this, that, and the third as well. And somebody had, I even seen someone say something like, well, if you're this hardcore fan, you want her to continue to put herself in these situations instead of figure out a new way to make herself more comfortable. And then that's when people got even more defensive. So it was just this real interesting conversation happening. But I do believe people need to point out that people commodifying the art is something that does not have to happen.
Right.
And it's became somewhat of a service damn near. Like entertainment is damn near a service. People believe they pay for a specific, interaction. Like,
It's a service, but I think the way people misconstrue it is
yeah.
that like you now have ownership of me and my morals and how I act towards you,
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
You're still granted to have your own opinion, and whenever you pay for services from me, to come see a show or to whatever, I'm gonna give you my service at the greatest capacity I can.
Yes.
But I'm a man at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So you have to come correct at me. You're not going to talk to me anyhow. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
it's so sad for these artists out here that aren't able to speak out on their own behalf. But one thing I appreciate about Summer, I know she's like the cornerstone of this conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that she really doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like regardless of what everybody's saying, she don't care. She's gonna say, okay, yeah, this is my social anxiety.
Yep.
Y'all take it.
Yep.
Y'all do what y'all want with it.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back and continue to do what I love, live my life, and make my music. That's the best way that she can go about it. She can't control how people take it and spin it and talk about it online. Like, all she got to do is her. And at the end of the day, doing her is what got her to this point anyway. And so she can't switch nothing up now, like, because that's when you start to conform into that product, and we start to see these artists go crazy, start shaving their hair, start checking into mental institutions and all of this extra stuff. So I've got a chance to be a student for God knows how long, for years, because I wanted this when I was young. Like, I had visions about being this artist early. So I got a chance to prepare and see how all of these artists went crazy, what they did right, what I need to look out for when it comes to family, but being protective and still holding on to your person as you become this, public figure that everybody gets to consume and chastise and comment on.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
It's tough, bro.
It's tough. It's tough and it's interesting because I think
Can I ask you something? Because
For sure.
I feel like we share a lot of this. And so, being that we were on College Boyfriends way back when, what I'm saying? College Boyfriends was shot in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it was just, maybe Atlanta AUC type thing. I
Yep.
didn't realize how crazy it was until I went back home to New Jersey for like a Christmas break or something.
That's crazy.
I'm at a random ice skating rink,
Mm-hmm.
and this girl was following me the whole night,
Oh.
like a little girl too. Like she had to be in high school when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yo, like I'm not crazy. This girl is following me. Like every time I come over here, she's over here. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
At the very end of the night, she asked me, "Are you on that show?" I said, "What? What are you talking about? Are you on that show, College Boyfriends?" Mind you, I'm in New Jersey, so
Yep.
at that moment it clicked to me. Okay, this thing is actually spread a lot more than I thought. So my
Yes.
question to you is, I'm sure you've gotten that because
Oh yeah.
you're very identifiable, especially with your dreads. Women love
Yeah.
when you put yourself together. How have you been able to navigate that in the small dosage that we've kind of seen already?
Oh man, I remember the most vivid first interact. I feel like the first feeling of just that. It was in Atlanta for sure, but it was still odd to me because I just didn't expect that. You just don't
Right.
like. It wasn't even like you thought little of the show because it's like you did it because you liked it. You did it. You were a part of it because you enjoyed what it was going to be. But I definitely had a mindset of it being a very very local AUC thing, which is big enough. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a good few
Right.
thousand people, you know what I'm saying, who can consume something and you can, build off of that. And I was going to be great with that. But when it was me and Terrell and it was the beginning of, I think, my senior year and we literally are coming onto campus and I got to handle something. I think he had to handle something in one of the offices or something like that. And this is before everybody got back. And so me and Terrell are like walking on the campus in the middle of freshman orientation, and you have like a group of kids who are just coming into the school.
Right.
So that means they don't know us.
They don't know
They
nothing.
don't know anything about us. But what I do know, just like most people who come to CAU, you Google. You Google.
Right.
You get on
Right.
YouTube. You try to see if you can find the vibes of where you're about to attend in some way, shape, or form. Who do I need to follow? Who is the
Right.
motherfuckers who are popping? Where do I gotta go? And so I get how people probably got to the show, just by just searching for things. And obviously the show did pretty well for the second season and was doing, and the numbers for the first season were growing because of that, because people jumped right back and added even more views to the first season. So it was like, definitely it was this growth, and it was just weird. It was weird, and it kept happening. It definitely kept happening. Like it was a day at Hump Wednesday where I went to Hump Wednesday. My phone is dying, and I see a friend of mine. She has a younger sister or something, and her sister like really wanted to meet me, and I'm like, why?
That's insane, bro.
Then I get to Hump, and it's like these two random Spelmanites, and it was at Morehouse, I believe, that day. These two random Spelmanites like ran up on me and was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And this, that, and the third. And then somebody else was like, "I always see you around. I've like never wanted to say anything. I'd be so surprised that you here on our campus all the time." I was like, "I go across the
I
street.
go to
Like I
school,
go
baby.
here." They was like, "Oh, you don't really go to Georgia State?" I was like, "No, I don't. That is a character on a web series, I was like, "Oh
But
my God, I didn't know that." And literally phone dies. The person I took a photo with, I evidently like added and hashtag college boyfriend. So it was in the group chat.
oh no,
And on
that's
top of that, it was somebody who like just took a picture of me. Not like with them, but like I'm far away and they took a picture of me and they like tweeted it talking about like, y'all, Chase from College Boyfriends is at Hump Wednesday.
that shit is
As
wild,
if
bro.
that's a reason for people to corral and like, look, this shit really live today type of thing. And it was like, damn, people really think this much of us, but it was so many other things too, bro. I'm talking about
I'm sure.
like from FAMU homecoming asked us to come in, host like a part of like tailgate, like a block party. I think it was like Alabama A&M wanted us to come, but it was like the logistics on that was weird. And then it was my ex my ex, we literally reconnected because she got to the show and she went to the University of Illinois. And she just found the show. Somebody put her on to the show.
But there was so much of that happening. But even those small instances of all of that does not compare to the
Imagine at
amount,
times like
amount
like a million. Yeah.
like a Summer Walker or a Chris Brown
Yeah.
or a Drake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these niggas are internationally known.
Yeah.
So, like, you gotta imagine the type of on guard that they gotta be. And some people just not with the shit. Like,
Nah.
no, nigga, where I come from, like, you'll get crushed in your face if you looking at me and taking a picture, like, without my, knowing and posting it and talking about me.
Yeah.
Like,
But I feel like our generation is special for a lot of reasons because we are the last generation who really knows what analog really looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, really knows what handheld manual doing things with yourself step by step. There's no shortcut. We got to read a book. We got to just put it together. We just got to figure it out. We're the last generation to kind of, really have that, like, just in us in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody after us, they have Google to their disposal. So there's no, like, you don't understand, or if you still are out here ignorant about a thing, and you're not seeking the knowledge. That's on you. You want to stay that way. That's cool. You don't want no difference in opinion. You don't want this, that, and the third. That's cool. Stay where you are, but we're going to be able to directly say what it is because you have the resources right there in front of you. And that's why I think so many people go so hard on, younger generations, because they believe they have certain things easier. I don't believe in that. I think it's more so of kind of just like new obstacles that no one ever really faced. Because I talk to my mom all the time about how, like, I can't code to you about how to deal with some drama that happened on social media. Yeah. Between me and my significant other, like, there's no duplicate situation of that in history, where she seen a DM from this girl, and then she jumped to conclusion. This is obviously a fake story, but it was just like, how can I, like, what is that? Somebody sent your man a letter, and you found it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because on my side, you follow her. So that means you guys keep up with each other. You watch stories. You like pictures. There's a lot more added, ammo to make someone upset or make them question a certain thing. So I feel like that's the world that we're living in, that people are realizing that, these are new experiences. These are new things happening, and that's okay. But you talked about where you was from several times. What part of Jersey specifically are you from, though?
I'm from Plainfield, New Jersey.
Plainfield.
Yeah, it's getting a lot better now. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it's gentrified a little bit, maybe. Yeah, but I haven't been there in God knows how long. Maybe about 15 years now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I moved from North Jersey to South Jersey at the end of like 5th grade. Okay. So that was a complete flip. So where I grew up originally, North Jersey, is kind of close to New York, all black people, black and Hispanic people. So I think in my school there was like one white girl. So I was not culturally diverse at all. Like, I was around my people, I was comfortable, and that's just what it was. But then when I moved to South Jersey, going into 6th grade, all white people. And so I went from I was culture shocked.
I bet.
I had to redirect my mind on certain things because white people are very interesting, and very different in how they view life.
Very true.
Yeah. So when I moved there, it was definitely a cultural shock for me. But I'm so grateful for it now because I know how to be anywhere. And honestly, I feel like my upbringing allows me to just be who I am, regardless of who's around. Like,
yep.
I know what it's like to be the Uncle Tom. I know what it's like to be around me and my niggas. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And how we kind of code switch a lot of times when we get around other people. But
Yes.
I'm being very intentional now about just being who I am, like regardless if you white, Indian, Hispanic, because a lot of times the people, they gravitate to who you are anyway,
Yeah.
not to who you pretend to be.
That's very true. And
Facts.
I learned a lot about like being very intentional about not code switching and presenting yourself from one of my best friends and a great acquaintance of yours, Benny Roosevelt.
But,
Benny
yo,
Roosevelt. Benny
yo,
Roosevelt is
we
the.
have some fucking stories to talk about
We
with this
definitely
guy.
do.
No, we have some fucking stories to talk about, and we are gonna get into it because I'm feeling spicy tonight. Yeah, but
but
yeah, okay, Benny, go ahead.
but no, because he and I've always it's a beautiful bromance that we have because we always sing each other's praises, and I think that
Yeah,
was what made us know that like we never really cared about each other's egos as much, but more so cared about how we presented ourselves and why we presented ourselves in those specific ways. And the fact that we were able to like meet on that level to try to talk about that is what made us, I think, become real close friends. And one thing that I feel like I got from him was definitely this attitude of like, I feel like we exchanged a sense of he wanted to build a filter because it was like people are thinking I'm like feeling like too blunt or too whatever. And I don't always want to get that energy off. I want to be able to control that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's more power in being able to like for people not to know when it's coming. They're like, I don't want people to just expect every word to come out of my mouth to be blunt because I want people to be comfortable. I don't want people to be afraid of what the hell they think I'm going to say. But I'm going to always keep it real.
fact.
And then I think for me, it was me being someone who always is spoken pretty well and all these different things, and definitely have always naturally been able to work a room and understand my audience. I think for me, it was about being able to be my raw self in the most perfect way. And I noticed that once I got out of school, once I got out of this kind of black utopia and into the world, it was a situation where I'm noticing like, damn, I really be in this workplace just talking all types of shit. Like, and I had to, I was reminded of that because I kept having to tell people what the hell I just said. Like, because I would be speaking how I would speak to you and anybody else. And they'd be like, what did you just say? What was that? What word did you use? Or, all like, having to explain slang or whatever, and all that type of shit. And it was just like, damn. I really don't like switch, and I'm like, I get why
But
people
bro,
do it. I
that's
don't
so
shame it,
beautiful though.
but it
Like
was
that's so
like somebody noticed that fucked me up.
I admire that, and I've always admired people like that because I didn't grow up like that. I grew up actually the opposite. I was quiet. I was timid.
Yeah,
I always had a mind about myself, and I was very intuitive, but I chose to observe and not speak for a majority of my life.
yeah,
So now that I realize, oh, I can speak up, I've taken that shit and started running with it.
yeah.
So and it took me observing people that were like you or
Hmm.
that are like you know what I'm saying? So I admire that and don't
Yeah.
ever switch that up, brother.
Oh no, it's a beautiful feeling because I think what I realized and what I answered for myself was the shit doesn't matter because people gonna fuck with you for why they fuck with you. People
Right.
people are still drawn to me as they were if I was code switching. So it was like shit really doesn't matter, and it makes me feel the most comfortable to not have to like tailor my words or say certain things in a certain way because I want to speak how I want to speak because everyone else is. Like everyone
Right.
else in this room is speaking in the way that they chose to. And why can't I as well? And that just be, sufficient. And we all understand. It's not about, I don't believe that there has to be a universal language. I believe people have to understand that people communicate differently and you can widen, your scope of how communication is and what that looks like. I remember literally having a whole argument with someone about how you pronounce things and how she was like, that's just wrong. I was like, that's not wrong. It's just another way. And she
Right.
was like, what do you mean? She was like, no, that's not how you say that word. And I was like, I was like, there's such thing called ebonics, right? There's such thing as, certain vernaculars. And I had to break it down to her that, like, the way that people talk in a certain region, a certain area, they're speaking English. It's all about articulation. They're saying the words, they're saying whatever. There's not a right or wrong way to this, though. Because if that's the case, there's a million things in the English language that are contradicting themselves. So we can't be nitpicky about the way that you're hearing it being said, because that's too much about respectability. That's too much about control. You want everybody to speak the Queen's English in a proper, specific way, as if they're not still speaking English. It is what it is. Accept it for what it is, and it's because it should be something that's wide ranging and not so limiting. And you have to sound a certain way, and you have to speak with a certain tone. And all those different things. And that's not what life is. That's not what freedom is. I don't believe in trying to bring people's communication down into a box like that, because a good thing, and speaking, just to jump to your project, to the Pressure Project, I love your mom being a part of it, right? And I think, it speaks to... She hates it. I understand. I had my mom do a little voiceover for an intro for a podcast, and she was like, I don't like my voice.
Yeah, she had no clue that I was doing that, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I just...
But she gave you the real, though. She said your name like you was in trouble.
Right.
But like, even that, like, there are people in this world who would try to condemn, your mother, and so many people who maybe didn't originate in this country, weren't born in this country, by the way that they speak. When it's like, open your damn ears. Like, it ain't that difficult. It shouldn't be this sense of they have to now, change themselves and change their tone to a so specific degree that makes you comfortable now. You see what I'm saying? And I just love authenticity, and I love when people sound as they want to sound, and they're not trying to force that out or change that up or be any type of way. And I think that's a beautiful tone to put, just a beautiful segment and a beautiful tone to kind of set the album off, set the project all the way off. So that's just a little tidbit. But to move on, my next question to you though is because obviously, speaking towards your mom, you're Nigerian, correct?
Correct.
And
or guy. Yeah, we Nigerian.
And you actually, I think that was an interesting connection that you and Benny Roosevelt made too.
I want to get into this Benny Roosevelt shit.
We about to get into it now.
I want to get into Benny so bad. Pause.
we can get into it now because he'll love to hear this. And I'm trying to figure out a way to link with him sometime soon because he's really been running around doing really dope shit. But I love he immediately adored you from the time he met you.
And I was a fan too. So, and the way it came together was very authentic, and that's what I really appreciated about him when I first met him.
But that's the beauty of it, bro.
The reason why it's so crazy to look back at how that all panned out now is because, as crazy as Benny is, and as wild as he presents the platform for you to be expressive,
yes.
It came at such a pivotal time. I was actually working on another project at the time when I met him. And I was in this relationship that was, like, now looking back, eating away at who I was. Like, I was forgetting why I do what I do. I was forgetting that I was a person. I was so consumed in the relationship. It was a long distance relationship at that. And I started to... internally, my spirit was trying to fight back. And I was lashing out, bro. Like, I was a wild boy, like, on the low, though, too. So that's the other part. It was like the only person that knew about this was me. And I was running rampant. I'm right there in the midst of Spelman. I went to Clark, and I'm in Atlanta. So I was look,
It was a good time.
it was a good time, but
Good time.
the thing about it was like, yes, it was a good time. I had my fun. I had some beautiful stallions before a stallion even became a thing, you know. And
Yes. Yes.
look. I'm not even gonna get into that. But but it was one thing that I found, and I'm very vocal about it
Yeah.
now, is that while I lost myself and while I was running around, I became very depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you the story. I've never publicly told this story. Um, I'm laying in bed one day and when in my dorm or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a stallion, as they would say. We had just finished, you know, mounting some mountains. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, you know, doing a little, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
But I
Yes.
lay down and
Uh-huh.
I was probably I was a little sweetie, you know. I let her stay the night or whatever. So
Yeah.
she's laying down. She eventually goes to sleep. The lights are out. I have my head facing the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
and I just start crying, bro.
Yeah.
Like I, I, I was trying to be quiet. I had to get up and get out of the room, but I just started bawling, crying.
Mm-hmm.
Now you would think that, you know, somebody just finishing this act, like you feeling like the man, you feeling great, but I was down because I was doing all of this day in, day out, beautiful women, but there was no connectivity there. I
Yeah.
had pieces of me scattered throughout the city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think at that point my spirit was just completely broken, and this was coming out of that relationship.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I was able to look back. But Benny, the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because Benny like placed me in a situation where I had to really meet who I was
Mm-hmm.
and confront who I was trying to be.
He got a way of
Uh,
doing that though. And
he has a
I'm
way
gonna
of
let you
doing
finish, but
that,
go
man.
ahead.
Yo, he has a way of doing that by just asking questions and then just presenting you with somebody or a place that you never seen, and he presented me for a photo shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a beautiful, sensual photo shoot.
Yeah. It's great.
But the model that was there, I had some history with because we went to school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing physical, nothing at like crazy at all. But it was just like, whoa, this person is a beautiful, dope person. She's intellectual. She is asking me things about my life that is reinforcing who I am, who I know myself truly to be, and who
Yeah.
my spirit was fighting to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a very intimate moment that night, all of us.
Yeah.
Like we got a chance to talk and to really pull our heads out and lay it on the table and just look at it for what it was. And it was in that moment that I realized, okay, this relationship that I'm in is not for me. It's not serving me anymore. And not just because I'm trying to be fast out here, because it actually isn't serving me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, Benny don't even know that. You know, I'm just grateful that I was able
Oh
to
yeah.
have that moment and look back at it now like, yo, wow, that was a very sensual
Well, no,
thing.
we'll make the time to let them know.
You know what
We're
I'm
gonna
saying?
definitely all link up and definitely chop it up
For sure.
on shits like that because we definitely all have progressed a lot into our perspective, professions and artistry. But he has a very natural ability of um of kind of like remaining in the raw, you know, kind of remaining in the undone, in the
Hmm.
just unfiltered, right? And
Absolutely.
that's the way he communicates. That's the way he creates art. That's the way. That's just the way that I think he approaches life in a lot of ways. And I think what he did for you, and I've seen him do the same thing for a lot of other people. And it is a small gesture. It's a small gesture, but I think the thing that encompasses him in the best way. The only example I can give that's probably even amidst popular culture for the people who don't know him personally is if you ever seen the movie Fight Club. In the movie Fight Club, for anybody who's listening who has seen it, there's a specific scene in the movie Fight Club where I believe it was a Brad Pitt or Ed Norton, whichever character. They found this guy who was like on the side of the road or getting away from work or something like that. Put a gun to his head and asked him, like, do you really want to do this? Like, what you're doing right now, working whatever job you're working, is this really what you want to do? And he took his ID from him and let him know, if you don't start tomorrow doing exactly what you want to do, I will find you and I will kill you. You do not work here anymore. You do not do what you do. Tomorrow you need to start doing exactly what you want to do. And I think that's the energy that he has.
Yes.
I think that's the energy that he has been, because of his own family and his life experiences. I think that's the one that he's been somewhat groomed to be in, but also he uses it in a way that I bet no one in his family would have ever thought to use it in. You know,
Right.
I think the red carpet was out for him to be the next Prince Akeem of the fam. You know, but he still had this creative energy, he had this creative bug, and he's certainly one of the most talented people I know, because the shit comes very easy to him. If it's some artistic
He's
shit, the
not
shit's gonna
thinking
come.
about this shit. He's just doing the shit, and it's going viral, and people
That's
are
it.
reposting shit, and people are falling in love and don't even know why.
Don't even know why. But it's not even just with photos. You know what I'm saying? I live with this man. You know, I remember putting him on the oil paints and how like quickly he grasped that shit, just how to use it and understanding textures. How quickly he grasped the concept of just fucking figure drawing or drawing in certain patterns. He's like a hobbyist by nature. So when he gets into shit, he gets into shit. You know what I'm saying? And he gets into it to a very, very high degree. He makes the time. He stays up. The shit, I think it really does energize him. And he has a great memory on the shit. He's great at being able to like duplicate the thing. Being like, okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this. All right, cool. And then he'll slowly but surely kind of make his own way and make his own style about things. And I remember him even battling with that, like questioning himself on like, I don't know what my style is. I don't know what it is. I was like, you don't got to worry about it, bro. I was like, you just keep doing you and the shit will work. People will flow to you. People will try to name your shit.
That's the hardest thing for an artist.
Yeah.
On their way to here, though. And I definitely understand that.
Yeah. But he's beautiful.
I played him that project when I was working on it. And I was in the car with him when we played it. And he was like, all right.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, cool. But I knew he wasn't really like feeling it all the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember him saying something like, man, it'll come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did it just come, man.
Yeah.
Like I listen to the stuff now and it's like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm astonished. So I'm sure you feel like that too.
Oh, bro, it's crazy. Like when you are talking about like the feeling of understanding that you're doing some type of art form that makes sense to you, that fits like a glove, you know, where you actually enjoy the, you know, beginning, middle, and end parts of it. I think that's just a sign of just that you can't ignore, for real. You know, like I've been doing this for 4 years, and I think this is the thing that I couldn't not be consistent with, not look into, not figure out how to be better at, and look into myself more and really be able to define exactly what the hell I'm doing, to be able to tell other people they need to come and either do it with me, come and join me and just talk to me, try to figure out exactly what it is. So I feel like the journey that you on, bro, is a beautiful one. I think you are doing everything that you need to do. And the most beautiful part about it, one thing that I love that you told me that you started doing was going to therapy, right? Coincidentally, everybody who doesn't know this, we're literally going to record this on a whole nother day, but I couldn't record because I had to go to therapy.
I love it.
And so
I was like, I love that. Beautiful.
That's a beautiful coincidence. I told my therapist about it too. He thought it was hilarious, which, I would love to know, because you say that, you know, your first session inspired this project, right?
Yeah, I don't want to mislead people. I was blessed. I drive Uber. That's how I've kind of been maintaining myself. And I even have a crazy story about that too.
Yeah.
But I was driving Uber And I kept having this idea for months, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, I need to get a therapist. I need to get a therapist. I need to get a therapist because that's what is going to actually solidify this project. I had all of the songs, had everything pretty much figured out, had the idea and the concept all together, but I just needed to sit down with a therapist.
Yeah.
But as you know, they could be a little expensive. So I
Yes.
was like, oh my gosh, hold on. I don't know. So one day I'm driving in the car. Usually I have music going. I have, people vibing when they get in my car,
Yeah.
whatever. So this lady gets in my car, a beautiful black lady, had a very potent aura about her. Like
Mm.
it was like, it just felt like a Sunday afternoon. I don't know how to describe it. She was just very potent.
Mm.
I said, yo, what do you do? Like, because you just have this aura that is just making me want to lean into you.
Mm.
And she was like, oh, I'm a therapist.
Oh.
And I flipped out because I
Mm-hmm.
knew what I was doing. I was in line. I was
Mm-hmm.
aligned. I was connected to God. Everything was moving in a way that it was like, yes, you're ready. I presented this to you now.
Yep.
And so I told her about the project in our Uber ride, and she was like, okay, look, give me a call and I will help you do everything that you need to do for this project.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't something that I paid for and that I've actually been consistently going to,
Yeah, I
but
understand.
I called her. We sat down for maybe an hour and a half,
Mm.
and she gave me a session for free, basically.
Mm.
And she just opened her line of communication up for any time I wanted to talk to her about anything. Of course, she wanted compensation and all of that, but it was just, I was so mind boggled that everything happened the way it did, but it just let me know that I was in line.
Yeah.
And she gave me so many tidbits about therapy and broke down a lot of stigmas that I had about it. Um, so I actually right now working to get my insurance to pay for my therapy.
Oh no, no,
So
that's exactly what I was gonna suggest to you. Is just that
yes,
that I hope that the experience was great enough to want to definitely go back consistently because
for sure.
it's bro, that's dope, that's beautiful, and that's hell of a message to send out to people that's a very key a cornerstone within your project. Because it is something that people don't talk about enough. I think now that people are talking about it more, you have a lot of people who are bringing up how they've had anxiety and bringing up these certain things. And I think what it is people are starting to find and understand the language and understand that, oh, damn, this was me too. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I had these issues going on and all these specific things. For me, it was genuinely not even seeing myself as having a specific issue until I started to just notice certain things. Just notice, just like why do I get nervous about this, or why do I get anxious in these type of moments? And I don't believe I should be. No one else I know I can talk to about this specific situation, and I was like, it just felt irrational to me. And I was like, I
yeah,
shouldn't be either afraid or feel nervous or feel any type of way about this very regular thing. And especially when it came to good things.
it's
It's like,
right.
I'm not feeling good when good shit happened. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, shit.
Um, and that was what led me to therapy more than anything. It wasn't anything extremely heavy on me, but it was more so like I need to really just be do overall check-ins with myself, and it was beautiful. It's beautiful. I
Yeah,
literally found it really was definitely aligned with God and the universe because I literally went through my insurance, went through the little directory, found a guy who literally looks like he could be my damn older brother.
I love it.
So it's almost like talking to a damn mirror, and it's down the street from my crib.
I love it.
So you talking about very close. So that means I could literally go from there back to the crib with no traffic, where it's just all breezy. You know what I'm saying? Like where the whole day is good. Where that's where I'm going to after work. That's I'm spending that my time there, and then I'm leaving and to do whatever else the rest of the day. And it's just like, oh, this is just a good time. This is great. This is beautiful, and it's very beneficial. I think it's extremely beneficial to anybody and anyone, no matter what state of mind, state of life you're in. If it's accessible to you, get after it. And if it's not accessible to you, look for resources for it to be something that you could possibly do. Even if it's, not as often. Like the fact that you even, seen this to be something, a part of your project, and then just at least went as far to go through that, at least that first session, is way more than most people do. Most people just keep talking about how they need to find somebody. Keep talking about how they need to go somewhere,
I hate that it's like, I actually love that it is becoming more known.
Yeah.
And more socially acceptable to talk about. It's not taboo as much anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't like that a lot of times we take those things and we make them trendy or like fads.
I agree.
And when I sat down and when I spoke to her the different times that I did, I seen, oh no, this is not something that we have to take lightly. Like this is something that is very serious and that we have to look into.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I realized that I was doing in different relationships, both romantically and in business, especially in the music industry, is that I was self-sabotaging a lot. Like I even learned that vernacular from her. She educated me on that. And she basically told me like, yo, you go into situations, you have a gut feeling about something. And a lot of times your sensors are telling you not to do certain things. But what I was doing was I was going ahead and doing those things and having relationships with those different people or business partners. And my gut, I would have to see that my gut was true to not feel crazy.
Yeah.
And she basically told me like, yo, that's self-sabotage. Like you had a feeling, you chose to ignore your feeling, you went ahead and you were proven right, which is okay, cool. If you want a cookie about being right, cool, great. But at the detriment to who?
To yourself.
To myself.
Yeah.
So that was something that really hit me hard because it was just like, yo, like, where did this even come from? Like, how? Like, and I was able to even think back further, and it had to be that relationship that I was in. Because a lot of times when you're in a relationship that isn't serving you, and you get into arguments and you fighting and bickering about, you just want to be right.
Yeah.
You just want to be right. You don't want to feel crazy.
Yeah.
And the person that I was in a relationship with would make me feel crazy a lot. Not to blame it or point any fingers anywhere else, but I think I got so used to having to prove myself that coming out of the situation, I held on to that. And it started to become, again, to my detriment in other situations where I should have just trusted my gut. So y'all niggas trust y'all guts out there. If y'all listening, please and thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think you should. It's all about what I learned a long time ago. It's all about how you perceive the situation too, and what you can take from it. Because each situation is going to be a lesson, but you can take away different things. And I think within that situation, it's certain. You can see it as just a tendency that was built up. It's not something that was like, you probably always had the capacity to do something in that way, but it was all these things had to kind of come together for it to be something that now becomes a habit that you now hold. And now it's a reaction to other things in life, and it's spilling into other things in life because that's just how we work. It's how we wired to be. After we do certain things so many times in so many different damn ways, it literally becomes a part of us, but it's something that can be altered still too, because it just like it was put on to you, a new trait, a new habit, a new whatever, it's something that you can also get rid of. I think people are so conditioned to believe that we are bound to so much of ourselves when we are really just, the actions and reactions of so much that's, we've experienced. But I think we don't want to see it that way. It's very comfortable to believe that we're all predisposed to just be a specific way, and that specific way being our flaws, being, the good and the bad things about us are things that can never change and forever be what they are. But I've noticed the things that are great about me not served me before. And I've noticed the things that are bad about me end up creating and becoming a blessing in some type of way. So it's like this real interesting thing that you have to kind of keep self-evaluating yourself on. But I think the fact that you are kind of seeing life in that way already and starting to really reflect, which I believe this project seems to be extremely reflective to me. Especially this Front on Me track, right? The Front on Me track is the one that you actually shot a video to. Shout out to to Dante. Shout out to Joy, who was in that. That's College Boyfriend's fam.
Yes. Also, shout out to Dos Diaz, who did production with me.
Oh yeah, what diner was y'all in?
That was I think it was called the Landmark Diner.
Yeah, I figured that's what that was.
But what's crazy about that? The week after we shot the video, the diner shut down.
You're lying.
Yeah, it was wild. When I had drove past, I was like, yo, what?
That's so odd.
Yeah, but I count it a blessing because it's like, yo, it's such a monumental space.
Yeah.
People love and would want to go shoot there, but I'm glad I was probably the last person to go shoot there.
For sure.
Yeah, the video came out really lit.
But to me, that song seemed very reflective to me.
Of course.
And you kind of, you definitely kind of going down the list of things of experiences and things like that. And I think I do that all the time. Like when I had my last big breakup, I literally went through this whole reflective moment, bro, where I literally, depending on how much I realized within this reflection, I would reach out and it was more so about, I know I was clearing my own conscience for sure, because it was going to be cool regardless of whatever reaction I got on the other end. Because what I realized is, how you spoke towards earlier, how you felt like you were real low key about it. Like you feel like you was kind of out here in the streets, but you was real kind of, contained. It wasn't so wild that it was like, reckless abandonment. And I definitely built that same type of life as well. I was doing all this shit. I was involved like shit. I was trying to make a lot of certain things happen and collaborate with people all the time. So I really had to compartmentalize a lot of my own emotions to be able to even, create anything, to have any type of, intimacy. And I was mind fucking the shit out of women. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
Yeah.
And truly being able to manipulate situations to my own whim was something that I didn't even realize I was doing. I thought that was game. I genuinely thought I was like, I thought I was going at it kind of cool. Like, I'm being honest and shit. I'm not lying to folks. They know what it ain't. They know what it is. But I didn't realize until, a few different breakdowns and crying that I'm like, damn, I must be fucking them up. Yeah. For them I have no emotion to them, but they have so much for me.
I think for me, I had where I was maybe not fucking up, was I was doing that and having emotion to them. So I was becoming very attached to these people. Like a lot of the people that I mentioned in the song, I value them like as people, but was still regarding them as sides or, I was just treating them like trash, to just be frank.
Yeah.
And utilizing that manipulation in certain instances and seeing like, oh, I can do this, and maybe not get in trouble, maybe not ever have anybody know anything at all. Like, and realizing that power that you could have as a man is like crazy when you're a kid still.
That's very true, bro. And trust me, it was bad. It was all bad for me.
Bro, you don't even gotta look.
It was all because, and I think I tell people all the time about Clark Atlanta University. Only way I can break it down, people, I was like, it's like it was 27-1. And
it was
the numbers.
27? Oh, I thought y'all had us beat. When I came in, it was 17-1. But I tell people 17-1, they looking at me like,
bro, it was a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot.
For those who don't know, because I speak to some of my white friends back in Jersey.
Yeah.
And I say 17-1. They're like, what does that mean? That means the ratio
Mm-hmm.
is 17 girls to every one guy. And
Yeah.
for Ronnie, 27 girls for every one guy. That's
Yeah.
wild, bro. How am I
Yeah.
supposed to focus in class?
Yeah, it's no real good way to, and but I tell people, and I used to tell people, especially in the classes, like under you, when just like telling them like, y'all, we're in a very fortunate situation, and I meant that in the most sincere way by saying like, I know all of you are gonna definitely have a good time here, but
Correct.
understand and take away as much as you can in the sense of lessons as well. You're gonna learn a lot from all these women that you may or may not fuck around with. You're still gonna learn so much just
Yeah.
being in so much proximity. You see what I'm
Gang.
saying? You're gonna understand how relevant or irrelevant they see you to be. You're gonna understand how it is like. Like just you're gonna really be able to understand what shit really is all about, because we're all in a similar situation, we're all in a similar place. You're gonna understand where your mark really is, where your power really lies, because it's just a beautiful situation to be in, to see where you at, and learn and take away what you can. Damn it, take away what you can.
Like I fell in love with being a Nigerian when I came to Clark.
Mm.
Like, and I had to get around some Nigerian because I didn't grow up all the way traditionally Nigerian. Like
Yeah.
my mom was in the house, yeah. I may have like some aunties around or whatever,
Yeah.
but I wasn't
You know what good
submerged.
jollof tastes like.
You know what I mean? Like, but I grew up in Jersey. Like I'm a Jersey boy,
Yeah.
but I claim my Nigerian. But when I got around other Nigerians like that grew up and
Mm-hmm.
that's been back to Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
and even the Ethiopian women, the women from Ghana, the
Yeah.
people, not even just women, people, and just being in, yo, your name is Olawole, like it has meaning, it has emphasis. You better
Mm-hmm.
claim that and stand on that
Yep.
because it's something,
Yep.
and you have to believe it to be something.
Yep.
So I got that, coming to Clark and being around even Spelman Morehouse folk.
Yes.
So
It opened my eyes up to just the diversity of blackness as a whole, and it's a beautiful thing, such a beautiful thing, and especially me, just like who I became close to. You know what I'm saying? Like two the closest men I became close to at that school. One named Juwanza,
oh, my
who is
brother
a
Jawanza.
Californian, who is literally a native Californian with a name like Juwanza Akawumi Harris, and then you have Benny Roosevelt, whose real name is Sadiq Ahmad. You know what I'm saying, and has this very beautiful, beautiful fucking story when it comes to his family and his father and his whole lineage, and me being from the South, but him having this connection to the South, being from North Carolina and everything. It was just real interesting conversations. You can only imagine like just the diversity of all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just this international outlook to certain things, this Southern outlook to certain things, this like all the way free loving West Coast outlook to shit. It was very fucking interesting. And it goes into a great segue
Okay.
into your record with both of our sisters, somebody I love so dearly. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? One of the only, I guess one of the only kind of features on the project, being with Ray Louise.
Yes, my sister.
And I love, shout out to Ray. You know what I'm saying? Shout
I
out to you
love
when
you,
you
Ray.
hear this. I love you so much, girl. I'm talking about, oh my God. And I noticed that you guys had, you did your listening party.
Yes.
You did your listening session, and you brought together, several people who I can tell that you trust. I love the clips that I seen from that. It just looked like it was definitely a vibe in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And two of my faves, talking, being her and Pink.
Mr.
Shout out to Barely Legal back in the day.
Throwback.
Man, that's a throwback. But
Throwback.
They
No,
had
that's
some shit though. They had some
that's the
shit.
Evo say.
Yes, that's Evo
Yes,
Save to the heart. But
yes, sir.
I
Hey, I
love her
got
fucking
beef with
voice.
y'all because I wasn't Evo say. I was just in the cut looking at all y'all like,
Do
what?
not do not feel
I
like
got beef with y'all. I
that.
got
Do
beef
not
with
feel
y'all
like that. Do
for
not feel like that.
real.
And
It's cool.
I tell people all the time it's it really does based on I think we really do base things off connectivity and also
But that's the
need.
thing. I was connected to all of y'all niggas. So
Yeah,
why?
yeah, but you didn't need it as much. You came off Ola. You came off like the one man band. I'm telling you.
I know. And when Ray tells me that now, she was like, "Yo, but that's that Jersey thing." Like she was
Yeah,
like, "Yo, you're so like when I first met you, you were so closed off, and it doesn't like coincide with who I know you to be now." But I
yeah,
had to explain to her like, I come from a place where you had to be on guard first,
yes.
then open up and let people in. They like it.
I'm
So
telling. Yeah,
I had to break that down and like start to really see and understand that about myself,
yeah.
and I'm still like that a lot. But that's it's all good. We ended up still being cool.
Oh no, no.
I'm,
You.
I'm on the podcast right now, you
Oh
know what I'm
yes.
saying? Ray's
Oh
on the
yes.
track, we still
Regardless of all
good.
of that, and because you was good, you was great, and
Yeah,
but no, you guys are on a you did a song together called Foreign,
foreign. Correct.
and I uh I would love to know like I guess what was your thoughts to making that track, and has it been how do you think it's been received already from any? I know it's only been a few days, but how do you feel like it's already, or how do you believe it's going to be received? Like the type of conversations, because there's a lot of conversations that happen around Black Americanness and and Africanness,
Sure.
from people who either if they're first generation, whatever, because there is this interesting camaraderie that we share, but also this interesting conflictions, so many
Oh,
different
yo,
conflictions as well.
you
And so I
said it
would
so
love to
perfect.
know, I guess, what was your ideas behind that? How do you believe the song will be received in terms of knowing that that's a thing that people keep in mind?
Yeah, so like the reason why I love this project so much in comparison to other ones that I've done is I didn't think too hard on anything.
Yeah.
Every song, like God is my witness, every song just came. Foreign just came. I sat down and I produced the beat first, and I was like, okay, that was one of the ones that I produced by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, this is a vibe. This is a vibe. I'm feeling this, and then the words they just came, bro. Like I don't even know how to say it. Like 15 minutes, I was done with my part.
Mm.
And because I just wanted to be me, I wanted to be authentic. I wanted to say how I felt as this Ola that is now standing on his own, that is speaking out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's real. Like I am a Nigerian guy, but
Mm-hmm.
I am also from Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
heavily influenced by Jersey. So I have to be cool. I had to learn how to be cool and confident in that, because you go around, and not even just Jersey folks, anybody, and you tell them that your name is Ola.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you mean, like Spanish? No, it's actually Nigerian. Oh, Nigerian. Like you get that from your American counterparts, and then you go to, your Nigerian counterparts, and you tell them, yeah, my name is Ola. Ah, Ola. You mean Ola? Ola. Ola wole. Ola what? Ola what? Ola wole. And you have this thing where it's like both sides are pushing you to the opposite side. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And so I said, you know what? Cool. Like, I'm going to be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be this person that can stand in the middle of both, look and understand both sides, and just be where I'm at and cool in that. So when I made Foreign, it felt like it. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like how I feel. It felt like I stood on my tent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I even say the last verse, like, we can eat fufu. I promise, girl, I don't do voodoo. Like I'm
Yeah.
talking some real African shit, but in my regular voice. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to sound African or make the beat sound Afro beat per se.
Yeah.
Right. So it just came, and then I didn't have a second verse, so I hit my girl Ray because I knew this was going to be a different style for her,
Mm-hmm.
and she has been experimenting a lot with, her second album was like a new jack swing
Mm-hmm.
esque vibe, and she was going so left
Yeah.
from the first album. So I was like, yo, I want to hear you on this. Like, what can you do? And she ended up knocking it out the park. So I was so happy to have her be a part of that because I don't trust too many people musically. Like, she's the only feature on the project for
Yeah.
a very specific reason.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like it's interesting as hell to me that that a connection and a bridge hasn't been brokered in some type of way in terms of embracing and accepting and getting into. But I think it's it's not our fault. Obviously,
Yeah.
we didn't pick or choose to be here.
At
and
all.
but also I think it's going to be an interesting take. I think it's going to be an interesting song that people kind of consume and bring in because it definitely make you tap your toe.
Yeah. People is loving it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I did a lot of focus groups before the project even came out. And that was one of the first songs that I had. So
That's good.
I had many songs that did not make the cut, but every single time I played foreign, booty started moving, feet started shaking,
Mm-hmm.
head started nodding. So
Yeah.
that let me know, and it got a star on it on Apple Music right now. So people listening to it.
Oh, it's
So
lit. It's lit. People
you know
listening
what I
to it. The
mean? People
algorithm is
listening to
working.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But to stay on music, what I would love to know, is because I feel like people always talk about their influences, right?
Hmm.
Influences are cool. Influences are great. They speak to a lot. Some people can guess all that. What I would like to know is to kind of flip that question to know what don't you like? What things do you feel like musically just don't, I guess, fit you right now, or never really never connected with that may have been popular, just because you felt whatever way about it. Because I know for me, it's comical, but it's true to me. In terms of R&B, I love R&B. I love R&B. But people, you literally get mad at me when I tell them I really don't like Joe, the singer Joe.
What?
I don't.
You should jump out the window. Come on,
I
what?
don't, cause
No.
I don't. And
Why,
like,
bro?
and I tried several times. My mom loves him. My girl always shames me about it. But I was like, I gotta be honest though. I gotta be honest.
I
Like, just
feel it.
I
I
can't
don't.
not hear stuttering every time he speaks. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he gonna go from it's a big rich town. I don't know why you lying. You always like I can hear it, and I
Nah,
can't shake that
I
sound out
love
of
it
my
though.
damn ears. And I was like, it's a me thing, and that's cool. The man definitely has songs that I like, but as a whole, I know I'll be good. Like I'm cool on it. But I think that's the beauty of music. It's like it's certain frequencies of things that are gonna hit you differently than everybody else. And I think that we need that level of honesty these days, where it's like shit can't always be hype beast. Everybody can't always like everything. It always can't hit for you in this moment because you may not be there right now. You may not be in that same mood. You may not be maybe past that or be about to go into that. So I would love to know what are some things that you disliked or you've
This like,
disliked over
I
time.
mean, you pretty much hit it on the head for me. Like, I don't like the, especially male R&B singers right now. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of male R&B singers are chasing the same sound,
Yeah,
and it's very synonymous to how Tiller first came out,
I agree.
and it's kind of rappy a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I don't have a problem with rapping as a singer, but bro, sing. You know what I mean? Like
Same.
sing, make songs. Like let me. And honestly, this is just to answer your question very plainly and frankly. I don't like people who I know or feel like is coming off fake or
Yeah.
not authentic. Like I
Yeah.
just I want to hear what you talking about. Like the youngins that come under me that sing and that are making music that are into R&B, they send me tracks all the time. Like, yo, what do you think about this? Da 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 da, this and that. I'm like, bro, what did I learn from you or about you from your song?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about getting pussy, but what about that pussy that, like, what did you learn from that? Like, outside of just sliding in something or outside of getting money or all of that. Like, Nick, how were R&B singers talking about that now? Like, they're talking
Mm-hmm.
about what the rappers are talking about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to me unless you're able to take that and flip it to make sense to who you are. And I was able to pull something from you.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I can fall in love
Yeah.
because sounds are so different. Like, I can't explain why I don't know if you're familiar with this new R&B artist. Her name is Baby Rose.
Ah, yes.
Her voice is
It sounds like the elders. It sounds
it's
so
oh
godly.
my God. It's
It's
so different too.
it got
Like,
some earth to it. It got
yeah,
some like it's
it
textured.
sounds like rich soil, literally.
Yes.
And it's very unorthodox though. Like, it's
Yeah.
not something that it didn't meet my ears beautifully at first,
Yeah.
but it like I love it now.
Yeah.
Like, she's phenomenal. But outside of that, she tells her story, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel it in her tracks, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that was something that I had to take and implement into myself and my music because that's what I love. So how can I take that and now put that back into the music? I
Yeah.
had to be real about myself. I
Yeah.
had to name drop all of these women that I had been with and
Mm-hmm.
what happened because I've never spoke about it before. It's
Mm-hmm.
just been inside me. I had to talk about the hoes that left me for other girls
Some
and
real
what that
shit.
does to a man's psyche.
That's
Like,
some real
it's
shit.
happened multiple times to me. Like, where
Mm-hmm.
I've been with a girl and she went off and started dating another girl. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, while you are on your own journey and, you know, figuring things out, for a young boy to go through something like that, you're like, it does something to you.
For
Like,
sure.
yo, was I not pleasing enough? Was
Mm-hmm.
to the point where she had to switch genders? Like, you know, no knock to, you know, those girls in their journey, but it affects the other person that you were with also. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So I had to talk about that. I had to be real. And that's what I love. So what I don't like, man, that fake shit, I take that fake shit somewhere else, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And
please.
to me, I think the weird thing about it is things are blending together a lot. You know, shit is
Yeah,
really blending together a lot, and I don't think it's nothing wrong with the blend. I don't think it's nothing wrong
at all.
with genre bending and things like that, because I think the realness will come through regardless. You know, and some
Right.
of the best things are the things that have been through genres. The best things are things that have some of the best, most well known artists are artists who have created their own fucking sound. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's certain people where you don't even want to compare them to other people because it's like what they did was different than every single other person, you know? Like no one, like I find it so funny, but also interesting in terms of like when people try to talk about these verses or who's better than this person and that and the third. And it's certain people who just don't get brought up because you
Yeah.
can't sit here and try to put them in the same pool of people. It just don't even
Hmm.
make sense, you know.
At all.
And one person I hear all the time, like I feel like he doesn't get thrown into the one gotta goes or the whatever. It's Stevie Wonder. You know what I'm saying? Because
Who are
it's
you
like,
comparing Stevie to, and why?
why? For
Why are
what?
you even doing that?
For what? And me and my girl, we literally talk about music all the time, and I think I think it definitely brings people together in the breath, and you can find your connections and just meanings and similarities in a lot of ways. And I remember she pointed something out to me that I didn't even think about for real. And she talked about people singing. She just was like, "How many people are like singing now?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like actually singing. She was like people who are actually like just getting on the track and like really giving you a good vocal. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of those? And usually when we speak, because we can always find someone who's producing those types of things, but we certainly want those people to be some of the biggest. You know, to get the limelight, to get the biggest types of rewards from those type of talents and efforts. And I was like, damn, baby, you're making a good point. I don't know, like,
It's tough.
because I do believe that there is a certain sound that is, you know, that is definitely a trendiness right now that definitely seems to be selling a lot of units. A certain specific sound and texture to their voice. We're seeing a lot of people pop up with a very similar tone, very similar texture.
But I think it's because people think music is easy,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of insecure musicians that
yeah,
are just doing what works
yeah,
or what is proven to work.
yeah,
And yeah, they're not really like trying to dive deep into the actual creativity of making music and
yeah,
vocal arrangement and
yeah.
vocal production when you're on stage. Like, I had to learn all of this myself because I'm not naturally a singer either.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when I sing now or perform now, people don't really believe me when I say that, but I could not sing a lick of lickety shit split, nothing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kept doing it. I kept singing, I kept trying. My mom would tell me, listen, you sound terrible, stop. But she loved me and let me continue. Like, you know what I mean? So over time, I got with some other singers. Um, I listened a lot. And then I did a lot of over singing where I was trying to do things that wasn't in my vocal ability.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just learned to just, okay, sit in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And this album, bro, like, I keep saying it, but I really feel like I just tapped into a different zone on this
Mm-hmm.
project.
Mm-hmm.
And I found me in my pocket and how I want to sing and how I want to sound.
That's
And now
beautiful.
being able to translate it to stage too, like, I've been having so much fun with it. But you got to
Okay.
really love this. And I think for to your to the point that your girlfriend is saying is like, it's not a lot of singers out here because I feel like people don't love it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but if you loved it, you would figure it out and make
Yeah,
it work. I
I
did.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
The last question I had before we play our little game, right? The last
Okay.
question about the project is the matching title interlude being the conversation called pressure between you and your mom. And you kind of gave us a little bit in the beginning,
Hmm.
but you put that full conversation there, close to the end of the project. And and what I wanted to say to you about it was, I guess, damn, this sounds like some therapy. What was it
Oh
about?
man.
what was it about? You know, because I feel like your mom was, to me it seemed like your mom was really had put already a lot of thought into this because years have passed, and so
Hmm.
it definitely feels like she's already kind of, you know, put one with two on your motivation. But I would love to know, what do you believe your motivation was to feel that you couldn't be in Jersey anymore and you needed to
Oh
get
man.
away and you had to make that leap of faith
Hmm.
to pursue what you felt like you needed to pursue at that time.
Yo, that, mind you, I told you earlier that that was not something planned. I literally just one day woke up and decided to call my mom and record the conversation.
Yeah.
She had no idea that I was working on a project. She
Mm-hmm.
had no idea that I had a name for the project. No
Mm-hmm.
idea about nothing that I was doing.
So you already had the name before she
I
even
already
said
had
what
the
she
name
said.
before she even said what she said, bro. Like, so, right.
Woo!
So so when that part came, I'm on the phone and I also had another phone to record her.
Yeah.
Um, I broke down because it was the last thing that I needed to tie everything together. And
Mm.
she said it. She, like, it was the one of the last things she said. She was like, "Hola, like, I just feel like you've always had that pressure on you.
Yes.
You've always had that pressure on you." And when she said pressure, bro, like a tear dropped. Like, I wanted to throw the phone. Like, it just let me know that my 16-year-old self,
Mm-hmm.
the feelings that I had then And to be able to have this conversation now, 8 years later, I did what I had to do, and my feeling then was right because it was true to me. It was true to how I felt. It was true to the vision that I had about
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Damn, you don't dare fucking cry on this podcast right now. You don't dare tear up right now on this podcast. No, nah, but nah, but nah, man. Like, man, that shit was tough, bro. I was 16, and just to give people a little more backstory, I was making YouTube videos at my mom's house in Jersey, and it was like right when YouTube was just brand new. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that anybody really put on there, like it was going like
Yep.
millions, like. So my stuff was up, like it was like me and August Alsina right when he was like young and just doing covers, like.
Mm-hmm.
It was little black boys setting up their cameras and just singing, and it was just going.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a guy that was writing for Tyler Perry in Georgia, in Atlanta at the time.
Yep.
And he had caught wind of the videos, and he was starting his own little record company, just to offspring it from what he was doing with Tyler Perry at the time. And flew me out, and I was flying back and forth from Jersey to Atlanta at the ages of 15, 16 every weekend, like working on music and doing stuff out here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I would come out here, it was intoxicating. Like it was like feeding the me that I had envisioned for years.
Yes.
And that you can't just give anybody, like when you're exposed to that,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want anything else.
Yeah.
So then the opportunity presented itself for me to actually move down to Atlanta. And I was like, Ma, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't stay here no more. And it's becoming extremely costly for me to fly back and forth every weekend. I need to move. Like I need to go. Like in 2 years, everybody's about to leave for college anyway. Let me just do this now. And she knew there was more to the conversation that didn't make it onto the project, but she knew that she couldn't hold me back from doing it.
Mm.
Even outside of what she really wanted to do, because she really wanted to keep me. But she knew that what I was doing was fulfilling my destiny and going in a path that I couldn't stay in Jersey and still reach the pinnacles that I've reached had I not moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because the exposure was just so crazy out here. But
Yeah.
that motivation, it was my family, like we didn't have everything. We was great. My mom worked hard. But I wanted so much more for us. And I knew that if I was just able to go and work and put my head down, that things could really change for us. And it was a single mom situation. So
Yeah.
I assumed the role as the man. Like I got a job as soon as I turned 16 in Jersey. I had 2 jobs. I was working at Tilly's and working at Subway. My first check was all of $7, bro.
Mm.
So I knew that working shit was for the birds. So
He's like, I've been here all week.
$7, bro.
Mm-mm.
$7. Nah, y'all got me fucked up. Y'all got me, and I need to go do something. So meanwhile, and it was just so crazy how God positioned everything.
Yeah.
Because I get a $7 check, but then I got 80,000 views on a video that I just posted.
Wild.
And people are telling me, "Oh my gosh, you should be famous." Da, 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 this. So I have all of this playing in me and in my mind all at the same time. I'm looking at my family. I'm looking that we still need bills and other stuff paid. I'm the only man in the house right now, so I have to go. I have to go and figure it out. And she knew that she couldn't hold it back. So I had a lot of motivation to go and do it. There was no turning back.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
But it's something beautiful about just the fact that she probably even felt it in her gut that holding you back wouldn't be the best,
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing, that regardless of wherever your guys' relationship was in that moment, it was for damn sure a whole lot of trust that she exercised in you. To know that
Facts.
you were going to not only go down there and do exactly what you were setting yourself out to do, but you were going to be safe. You know, you were going to be good. You were going to,
Yeah.
I don't have to sit here and wait up and worry if the decision was right or not. Because as you see now, or at least you've seen in that conversation and possibly conversations before, that she understood what your motivation was. And it's kind of like, how can I be, how can I be upset? Like, I raised my son to care about his family.
Right.
And he's only doing what I told him to do.
Right.
He's only working off of that type of energy. So I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think it's a beautiful kind of ode and love and kind of, just love and loving affirmation to your mom on just giving you that trust. Because I do believe that's a lot of trust that all parents exercise when they allow their children to go away from them, especially around their college age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a lot of people really think about it because it's a custom now. But we're teenagers.
Like,
we're
that's
teenagers.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And you're telling me that not only am I a teenager, but I'm about to now go several states away, be inundated with new experiences,
New people,
be given an abundance of independence, 27-to-1 ratio. Now having to figure out a somewhat of an adult budget. That's the crazy thing. I think that's why people in college are so broke. It's because we are out of our adolescence, but we're in this kind of in between, and we really have a lot of adult shit that we kind of got to do. But because we're students, people kind of cut us a little slack a little bit. It's like, oh, y'all broke? Okay, I'll pay for it for you. Or there's a discount or whatever, because you're in school, You don't actually have time to have a job type of thing. And if you do, then it's probably going to whatever else. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that you expressed that on this album and on this project. And the fact that came together like that ain't none but God.
For real, man.
Shout.
For real.
But the last thing we'll do is play a game.
Okay.
Last thing we'll do is play a game, and then we can wrap it on up. So this game is something I made up. I'm not sure if somebody else made this up, but if they didn't, cool. You can call it my shit. Anywho, essentially, you're a musical artist. So I wanted to talk about music because you also act. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna bring these things together, right? So what I said was, how about I give him songs, and you have to name the soundtrack / movie that these songs came from. You know what I'm saying? These are all 3 classic films. I hope that you've seen all 3. If you have not, this may be pretty damn hard for you.
Oh.
But I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to try not to be, try not to sing terribly if you need me to sing it, because you might not remember the lyrics or whatever. I'm going to do my...
Yeah, I'm terrible with lyrics, too. I make my own.
Yes. So first, I'm going to give you 3 songs, and you guess the movie. All right? Okay. The first song is Maxwell's Fortunate. Second song.
I know that one already.
Second song is City Highs, What Would You Do? And the third song is Wyclef's New Day. What's the movie?
Okay. Wait, so this is all for one movie?
All 3 of these were in one movie. These are all soundtracks for one movie.
Is it Life?
There you go. Ring, 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 ring. Good guess. Good guess. Good guess. Great. Next one is I Want to Get Next to You by Rolls Royce. This one's pretty easy to me. You have Freddie's Dead by Curtis Mayfield. Some old songs. Then you have Mary Jane by Rick James. Mary Jane. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn, it's so many movies.
You got the song. That's I
Damn.
Want to Get Next to You by Rolls Royce.
Is that Friday?
There we go. Ding, 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 ding,
Yo,
ding, ding,
let's
ding.
go.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
I'm
Okay.
on it. Yo, let's
Now the
go. Okay,
last
okay,
one.
okay.
Now this one should be easy as well. But it may be thrown off because a lot of people may not know who the artist is behind a very pivotal song. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give it to you in this order. You have Dance Tonight by Lucy Pearl, the very short-lived group that Raphael Sadiq had a song called Dance Tonight in this movie. Then you had I Like by the group Guy. So we got two different, this is pretty wide ranging in time right here.
Yeah.
Then you have Lastly by Michelle Indigiocello. The name of the song is Fool of Me.
Fool of Me.
Think about that one. That's the hint right there.
Whoa. Okay, wait. Okay, what was the first
The first
song?
one was Lucy Pearl, the group Lucy Pearl. And the
Lucy
song is
Pearl.
called Dance Tonight.
Ooh.
The second song is I Like by the group Guy. New Jack for you. And then lastly by Michelle Indigiocello, Fool of Me.
Fool of Me. Damn.
Mind you, this is definitely a movie you probably have seen, and this is definitely a movie you probably have seen more than once. A million times, possibly.
Fool of Me. Oh no, I don't know this one.
Okay.
I don't know this one.
It's all good. The answer is Love and Basketball.
Oh,
You remember that song?
Hola, you should have did better than that.
That's the song that was playing after they played for each other's hearts.
You should have did better than that.
And she had that. She got you talking about tone with Baby Rose. Michelle she got a tone too. It was real earthy too. It started real slow, and it's a real somber ass song. It's a
But
great
the
song.
thing about Love and Basketball is I was so young when I was watching that.
Oh yeah, we all were.
Yeah. Nah, you a little older than me. So I was like, nah. But
But
yeah, I don't
it's
remember no songs in Love and Basketball, to be honest.
for real.
For real.
You don't remember none of those.
But I remember the pivotal scenes. That's pretty much it. I was like, man, he looked like me. Like I want to jump out a window and talk to a girl across the street. Yeah.
Right. It's inspiring. It's hella inspiring. But before I let you go, I want you to give everybody any type of way that they can keep up with you, support you in all of your endeavors, and
For
everything
sure.
that you are doing.
Everything is it's Ola. That's YEAHITSOLA on SoundCloud, on Instagram, on Twitter, on MySpace, on
Go ahead, MySpace. If it's still
on
on,
MySpace.
if you got your password, if you still got your password, get on
Bro, they
MySpace.
deleted my account. I'm tight. I had pictures that I really wanted. But it's all
I can't even
good.
get into mine.
Yeah, they deleted my whole joint. But it's all good. But yeah, that's what it is. But I really want to thank you actually
Yes.
for, man,
Thank you, bro.
having me on this show, man, and just having this open conversation about all of this stuff that we've been through.
Oh,
It's
yes.
really needed. And I need to come back on the show. Yeah, let's do that.
For sure. And I definitely will let you know when I am in town. Because, matter of fact, I'm going to make sure I text you Benny Roosevelt's number because I know he's in town right now.
Boom.
For sure.
Heard.
So he definitely can make all that linking happen. You feel me? But
Heard.
for all who are listening, and I hope you enjoyed, and make sure that you go and listen to all of Pressure. And then after you're done with Pressure, make sure you go dive and listen to every other project. Give it all love. Follow on YouTube because my bro is coming with some visuals. You feel me? Make sure you follow. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the folks who've been holding it down since the college boyfriend days and been supporting Ola since then and before then, even back to the old YouTube days. Shout out to all of y'all too. So if you don't know now, you know, you can listen to the Soulfully Conscious podcast for humans simply being humans. That is Simply King. Everywhere podcasts are available. And also follow me at Kings_memoirs on all social media platforms. Follow the podcast on Instagram at the Simply King Pod. Get at me. Let me know. Let's link. Let's collab. These are the type of things that you're going to get from the Simply King podcast. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Talk to y'all again. Peace.
Oh, Brianna, how's your girlfriend? Does she do it like me? Ariana, you were my first time, then you left me lonely. Anissa, left me for a girl too. It was better than Elisa. She made me happy that I had you. I need my next one not to front. Baby, don't front on me, front on me, front on me, oh no. Baby, don't you front on me, front on me, front on me, oh no. One wanted money, two had hoes. 3 nights later, I had twins at the door. Baby, don't you front on me.